Good afternoon and welcome to Exploring Monterey Bay, airing bi-weekly on KSQD 90.7, 89.7, and 89.5 FM. I am your host, Mathilde Rand, and my guests are Anita Natale and Helene Simkin Jara from this year's 8 Tenths at 8 Festival, which starts January 17th at the Santa Cruz Actors Theater, 1001 Center Street. Welcome, Helene and Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start with you, Anita. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with 8 Tenths at 8?
Well, I am a longtime theater enthusiast, doing acting and directing for many, many years. And this year, I'm the co-artistic coordinator for the 8 Tenths at 8 Festival. And I got involved with 8 Tenths mainly because it happens at a time of the year when most other people aren't doing theater. Our shows are in January and February, and as a high school teacher, those were times of the year when I could take a little time out and be involved. And so I originally got involved because 10 minutes doesn't take very long to do rehearsals and do performances, so it fit into my schedule, and I've been doing it for over 20 years, being involved with the 8 Tenths.
That is amazing. How about you, Helen?
According to my resume, which I had to look up, I started doing the 8 Tenths in 2003, and I've acted in 6 of them, and I've directed 11 of them. I love the 8 Tenths. There's so much fun around the 8 Tenths. We're like a community. The magic of theater is so great to see 8 different plays put on with different sets and different actors, and it's great. It's fun. We always sell out. The audience loves it, and we all love it too.
What else is there that appeals to you in doing the 10-minute plays?
For me, as a director, I love the feeling of being able to create an entire story within the parameter of 10 minutes. It means that as soon as the lights go up with your actors and what's going on, you must orient the audience immediately to the world they're entering because it's going to be done in another 9 minutes. So that challenge of creating a world and acclimating the audience to your characters and the conflict going on so quickly and actually telling a full story within the beginning and conflict and resolution. It's really exciting to do that in a very contained time frame.
And would that be a little bit stressful?
Oh, yeah. It can be stressful.
Go for it, huh?
Things always happen. You can never tell. But for me, I think it's really a fascinating thing that a playwright to me is like the seed planted, and the director and the actors are making this baby. The director is sort of the midwife, and then the baby is the performance. It's very exciting. As a director, for me, 90% of it is casting. So if you get the right cast, it works really well. I'm a different kind of director. I like it to evolve, and it depends on the actors themselves, what they bring, what talents they bring. And it can change during the rehearsal process. I mean, they bring stuff, I bring stuff, and we sort of mold it. And then the playwright has to give up. They have to know that they've given the seed, they've planted the seed, and whatever happens, sometimes the directors will talk to the playwright and ask permission to perhaps change a word or two or change even the gender. It really depends. I've been really lucky with my playwrights. They've been very cooperative. It's a blast, really.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you mention to me the audience is used to sound bites? Is that really why the 10-minute plays are so successful these days?
We live in a time of TikTok, right, where you can scroll with your thumb in milliseconds, but here it is live theater. And for the audience, the experience of getting such variety and just showing up one time, there are 8 different stories being told, 8 different casts, 8 different directors. And so if a play begins and in the first minute or two it's not resonating with you as an audience member, sit back, relax. There's going to be another one in another 7 minutes, and you get that opportunity 8 different times through an evening.
Uh-huh. And we stop at 300 entries. It's a contest, and that's a lot of plays to read through. The reading committee has a really hard time. I've been on it once, and I swore I would never do it again. But there are 300 entries from all over the world, really. And they choose 24. So there's 16 in the 8-10s at 8, night 1 and night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Best of the Rest Fest afterwards, which are play readings of the next 8, which are equally fun and fabulous. 24 plays, yeah. The last 8 of the Best of the Rest are readings, scripts in hand. It's quite something, and it's such an honor if you're a playwright to be chosen in those 300. It's a fun process.
It's that whole idea of numbers, I think, that's important to understand for this volunteer effort. So there are over 300 playwrights who send in their stuff, hoping to be one of the plays chosen for the 810s Festival. We have a national reputation. We're the longest-running short play festival left in the United States. We've run the longest. We're doing what is, I believe, our 29th year. So over 300 playwrights sending their stuff in. Our committee of readers reads 300 plays, chooses the 24 that they think are interesting and will, really work on our stage and work for what we're offering. We can't do big productions. We're a small theater. And then from that, we've got 16 directors that we've chosen who will each get a different play and cast that separate play. Altogether, we're looking at over 70 people, 16 casts, 16 playwrights, 16 directors, plus our designers and our crew. 70 people was what it takes to put together these conglomerations of 8 10-minute plays.
Wow. And so you started to talk a little bit, Helene, about the collaboration between the actor, the playwright, director. Tell us a little bit more.
As a director, when I read the play, well, I'm lucky if I get the play I want, because that's another thing. There's a time when all the directors get to read the plays, the 24 plays, and then they have a meeting where they hope to get to direct the play that they prefer. And that's another story altogether. And then once you
mean sometimes there's fights for the plays.
Sometimes there are fights for the plays.
I wasn't going to say that, but
there's fights for the plays, and there's also fights over the actors.
Collegial
fights over the actors. That process is sweat producing. It's quite something, and I've been through it 11 times, and I've gotten really, really, really lucky most of the time. And then it's very funny being on the committee, too, the reading committee, because I remember being on the committee one year, and you're just sure that everybody else is going to think the ones that you think are great are great. And then somebody will look at you and go, are you kidding me? You like that play? And then you look at them and you go, are you kidding me? You want that one? It's hilarious, really. But that's the thing. We're all different. The audience is going to like different things too. So it's a very interesting process.
Anything else, Anita, about that?
I think it's important to know that our reading committee reads the plays blind. They don't know who wrote the plays. Yeah. It's purely on the merits of each 10 pages. A 10-minute play is about 10 pages. And the fact that we get such a diversity of playwrights working with us. I looked at the playwrights for this 810s, and out of our 16, we've got professional television writers this year, writers who've been produced off Broadway, many writing award winners. There's a local psychotherapist, some folks from far-flung places like Minneapolis, New York, Milwaukee, LA, Canada. There's a poet from New England. There's director of the Masters of Theater Arts program at Towson University. There's a landscape photographer who recently had a double lung transplant. And there's a Bay Area expatriate now living in Mexico. And there's also some folks who just wanted to take a try at writing a 10-minute play. And yes, first-time playwrights do make it to our stage. All the playwrights just want to see their work getting out there, and Actors Theater is pleased that we can give a forum when new works can be staged.
Wow.
It's also a pretty exciting experience when a playwright gets to see what they've written come alive on the stage. Because it's one thing to look at it on paper and imagine in your mind what it's going to look like, and another thing to see what the director has done and what the actors are doing with your play.
So does it sometimes cause a little friction of what the director wants and what the playwright had in her or his mind?
That can happen, and over the years, we're almost, how many years? 29? 29 years. There have been certain playwrights that have been less cooperative than others, but a playwright has to give it up. It's like, it's your baby now. I've been lucky. I've been super lucky. It can be hard for them to give up control, and
No.
they have to.
Helen, you both participated as an actor and a director. And of course, you're a very different attitude towards a director than as an actor, and maybe the other way around as director to an actor. Or do you see complete collaboration? Nobody's the boss. Nobody has the final word.
Well, these are all new plays,
Yeah.
so the performance is the performance. The actors and the directors are creating for the first time what this is going to look like. So I think often there's a lot of input from actors because
Okay.
there's no previous version of that play for them to have witnessed or heard about. So the opportunity for ingenuity is great, and I think that's exciting for everybody.
Yeah, it kind of depends on your director. I think the protocol is that the actors basically do what the director wants. But there are some directors, like the director I have now, who's fabulous. He definitely will go for input from the other actors. So it kind of depends. But the protocol is the director wants you to do this, you do it.
Do you prepare differently as an actor and as a director? Do you feel different?
Yeah. As a director, I welcome the input from the actors. I have to see what their particular jewels are. And then it molds according to who they are, not just what I want and what I think the playwright wants, but they, just whoever they are, can change the whole experience. As an actor, it's really fun to, like right now, I'm playing with my part right now. I'm playing with it because after you get to know the lines, then it becomes fun to just kind of play around with, oh, well, maybe she's like this. So, and then I run it by my director, which I did last night. I said, what do you think if she... It's really fun. And then anything can happen on stage. Anything can happen. You have to be prepared.
Any surprises ever that you've rehearsed, and then one of the actors decides to do something different, or something happens that makes that person throw in a different line? Or
that can happen. They can, lots of things can happen. They can forget their lines or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of instances where, and that's why it helps to be able to just go with the flow. And some actors are better at that than others, but it's an exciting experience.
have you ever been an actor and a director in the same festival?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
how did that work out for you?
It was fun.
Yeah, I've done it too. It's the most fun.
It is really fun. Put on a
'Cause
different hat.
For one, for the director role, you're really focused on the overarching plan and how the whole thing looks, down to what props are going to be used and what the music is going to be and when a sound cue is coming in.
Yeah.
And as an actor, I'm just completely into, okay, what can I do to really get this message across? Who am I and how does it work within this? And they're both fun
Yeah.
roles.
And you react to your fellow actors, unless you're doing a monologue, but you react. And the audience to me is like a protein shake. I mean, they feed me. I love them. So that's like a different story.
So you feel their presence?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're
Definitely.
a small theater. We're
And
an
the play
80
I'm in now is so funny.
We're a small theater, 80 seats.
Yeah,
you
80
feel the presence of the
You feel it, yeah,
audience.
yeah, so-
In fact, I would often, when performing, tell my friends, don't sit in the front row because
If
you
I-
can completely see the front row. you don't want your friends looking at you that closely. That's also great for the audience because there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
You have that intimate feeling of being connected to what's happening on stage, and you get a full view and a full connection throughout.
Right.
Yeah, and backstage, I mean, the actors sometimes say, God, they're really into it, aren't they? And we go, yeah, love this audience.
Let me remind the listeners that this is Exploring Monterey Bay on KSQD, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and of course online at ksqd.org. My name is Mathilde Rand, and my guests are Helene, Simkin, Jara, and Anita Natale of the 810s at 8 Festival. So far we've been talking about your involvement and your experience, but also some very thoughtful ways of looking at what an actor writer or playwright and a director does. Let's talk a little bit more about putting the festival together. You already told me 300
plays. The
And
committee
then,
chooses 24. We put them into a menu of 2 separate parts, part 1 and part 2. They are not connected to each other, so it doesn't matter if you see part 1 or part 2. We have many audience members that like seeing all 16. In fact, we've set up our scheduling so that with our Saturday and Sunday matinees, you can see all 16 in a day. Go to the 2 p.m. matinee on a Saturday or Sunday, go out to dinner in downtown Santa Cruz, come back for the 8 o'clock show, and you will have seen the full 16 plays. We run Thursday nights through Sunday afternoons, 8 o'clock at night, and Saturday and Sunday matinees as well. We choose plays that make a good connection with each other in some way as we set up our menu of 8. And people always ask, well, do I have to see both parts? No, it's just that many people enjoy seeing both parts.
Right. Now, let's talk about the order, because you also deal with the sets, of course. What role do the sets play?
They are the heroes. Our crew are the heroes of 8/10s at 8.
They are.
If there's 8 shows, that means there's 8 set changes.
Right.
They're complete set changes, completely different plays. And so our crew choreographs how to do as quick as they can a complete set change in just a minute in between the 8 shows.
So, and that, of course, may then depends on which order a play is in.
Right. So if they have a big piece of stuff to move around, that'll often come right before intermission. If it was a lot of setting up, that'll often start out the show or end the show. But what's fun for the audience, and we hear this year after year, is that people love seeing our crew at work, because they see how precise and like a dance it is to move things around so quickly with the audience just feet away from them watching it happen.
Now, do they collaborate in creating the sets, or...
We have a set designer. Suzanne Schrag is our set designer. She's also the executive director of the Santa Cruz Actors Theater organization. And we do so much with very few set pieces. That's another thing audiences enjoy, is they get to see how just moving a few pieces can give a whole new feeling for a different play.
So there's more to coming to the play by watching the play, but just watching the set changes.
Absolutely.
And then every director has music to their plays. So there's different music that introduces the play and different music that ends the play. It's quite something, really.
And then, of course, you have the lighting person.
The lighting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's huge. I love watching it being put together. I love it. It's like magic.
So you probably have tech rehearsals.
Oh, yeah. This is Tech Week. So tonight is the first dress rehearsal for part 1.
You get to work things out during Tech Week.
Yeah.
One thing we noticed was there was a sound cue in one play for a truck shutting off as the actor was to come into the scene after turning off their car. Well, the sound that played was clearly a truck starting up. So it didn't make sense that we were starting up a truck and then entering into the scene. So that's why we get a week ahead of time to work all those little kinks out so it will be ready for our audience at the end of the week. We open on Friday.
For you personally, what experience that you had with 8/10s at 8 stands out for you? Like if somebody says, tell me something about your experience, what comes up for you?
The community of actors and directors, we're like a big family, and we support each other. And it's always fun backstage, watching people get into their costumes and getting ready and preparing. Different actors prepare in different ways. Some of them do voice exercises. Some of them move around. Some of them just pace.
Well, as the co-artistic coordinator, I've gotten a chance to go around and see all of the plays in rehearsal and as we're getting prepared. And for me, it is such a joy to see 16 different directors with totally different approaches to how to bring out a performance, how to get the playwright's message across. There's no one right way to do this. And so to see the talented people that we have here in Santa Cruz, I mean, we don't have a handful. We have 16, and there were plenty more that wanted to be a part part of this. It's just great to see the level of talent and commitment and the enthusiasm for theater that we've got here in Santa Cruz.
I assume part of your role is to encourage aspiring writers and actors.
Absolutely.
Do you have any set procedures?
Here's the thing. You can go to our website at santacruzactorstheater.org, and that's theater with an R-E in the old-fashioned way, santacruzactorstheater.org, and you can find out everything about what we offer. And it fully explains how to submit your play. Mm-hmm. And all you need to do is write a 10-minute play, and you can be a first-time writer. You can have previously done some writing. I convinced my hand surgeon last week while he was giving me stitches. I convinced him to write a medically oriented play because we haven't had one in a while. So he's going to give it a try. It's just a way to engage with ideas and thoughts and what you know and what you feel and put it into a format that other people might be able to see it.
And for actors, I mean, a funny thing happened this year. This guy who lives across the street from me, I said, oh, I didn't even know he could act. And I said, why don't you audition for the 810s? And he's fantastic. And he's in 2 of them now. He's fabulous, and he's in the play I'm in. It was just like serendipity. He just lived across the street.
So you personally invite people in. Do you have any classes or?
Oh, yes. Santa Cruz Actors Theater, we sponsor all kinds of workshops throughout the year. Some of our directors are professional educators and professors of theater arts, and so we offer workshops in things like auditioning, workshops in body movement. There was even a workshop, Shakespeare workshops. There was a workshop by someone who came in and did hand puppetry, like how to turn your hand into shadow puppets, things like that. So you can find out our whole year's worth of stuff by looking at our website.
Repeat that again.
santacruzactorstheater.org.
With R-E and not E-R.
Mm-hmm, with an R-E, yes.
Now, let me give some more contact information. The Santa Cruz County Actors Theater is at 1001 Center Street, Santa Cruz, California, 95060. The phone number is 831-341-8666. And the mailing address is P.O. Box 7084. Santa Cruz, California, 95061. So we have a few minutes for some final thoughts. Would you like to start, Helen?
Well, I would encourage anybody who wants to audition to find a monologue, a 1 or 2 minute monologue, and practice it. And even if you don't get cast the first time you audition, it's still an interesting experience and a fun experience. Well, for most people, it can be fun. It could be terrifying, but it's really, I mean, it's a great way to kind of get in the door and see what can happen. You can never tell, and you might as well. And the more experience you have auditioning, the better you get at it. So I would encourage people to audition.
And my advocacy is that there is nothing like live theater. In the digital age, when we're watching things on screen, to have the opportunity to sit in a darkened room with other people while stories are being told in front of you with real people, it's important, it's fun. Our plays take place in such diverse locations as a police interrogation room or the Himalayas or a quiet park bench or a therapist's office, and you're going to see 8 different setups like that can transport you for just a little while. It's a great date. Come to the Santa Cruz Actors Theater for the 810s at 8 Festival.
And that, of course, starts Friday, January 17th.
For part 1.
Part 1.
And part 2 starts Saturday.
Starts Saturday.
January 18th.
And, of course, the schedule is on the website?
On the website. You buy tickets on the website? Absolutely.
Yeah, I bought my tickets for
good.
For me and my
it's
friend.
Good you bought your tickets. We often sell out. Those 80 seats sell out.
Yeah.
So that's why I was worried. Last week I signed up because I thought I have a program, but I want to see it too. Plus, I know somebody who is going to be a co-director of one play that plays on January 25th. So first of all, you got to support the theater world. And then secondly, and for some people that comes first, your friends or family or relatives who are in the plays or who are the writers. I can imagine the excitement for people close to the whole scene. And now, of course, Santa Cruz, for 29 years, has been very close to the scene. When I mention it, oh yeah, I did this and I did that and I've seen this and I should go again. And then they said, but then when I go to the website, it's sold out. So again,
buy your tickets now.
Yeah,
Right.
and people get turned away at the door. They think on Santa Cruz time, well, I can just show up. Well, no, you can't.
no. Okay, thank you, Anita Natale and Helene Simpkin Jara. Listeners, this was Exploring Monterey Bay about the 18th at 8 Festival, which starts this Friday, January 17th, for about
Next Friday.
2 weeks. It's this week. It's the 13th.
Sorry.
Get with the program, Helen.
Sorry, I'm trying to get with it.
She's an actor. She's engrossed.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll
Thank
see you in
you.
2 weeks.
All right.
See you.
Bye.